The next data source up on the agenda is the entity data source. And this particular data source control allows us to perform link queries against an entity framework model. Now, in the previous demonstration on using the object data source, I showed how link to SQL could be used. And in this one, we're going to talk about another option that's available in .NET, and one that I prefer with .NET 4, called Entity Framework. And so that's where this control is used. It can be used in conjunction with this Entity Framework that I'll demo. So this control, like the others we've covered up to this point, allows us to do filtering and sorting. We can do select, insert, update, delete operations, caching, all that good stuff is available with it. Now, the basic steps you're going to need to go through to use this are shown here. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to create an Entity Framework model in Visual Studio. From there, we're going to go in and then configure the Entity Data Source in our page to be able to query against a specific entity, a table really. And then you could from there work with parameters, filters, and do that type of stuff and adjust this Entity Data Source to do what you need. So let's take a look at how we can use it. Let's take a look at how we can work with Entity Framework and use the Entity Data Source to query our Entity Framework model and get data into a web page. So to start off, I have an empty web application project here, and you'll notice there's a web config, doesn't have anything in it at this point. And then I have an app data folder, and just as a review, I added that by right-clicking on the project and saying add ASP.NET folder. And then I simply selected app data. And then I added this AdventureWorks Lite database into it. Now let's go look what's in there real quick because we're going to query that. So I'm going to come up to View, Other Windows, and go to Database Explorer. Now if you're on other versions of Visual Studio other than the Web Developer Express that I'm on, then you would just go to the Server Explorer. So you'd say View Server Explorer, and you could get right to your Database Explorer from there. But in Web Developer Express, you go this way. Alright, so that shows me the database, and now I can drill down and actually see the tables. I can actually right-click on one and say Show Table Data, which is very nice. And this will bring back the select star type query. So this brings back everything. You can see we have about 437 records in this particular table. And then I can even drill down and just look at the different columns this way as well and see what their properties are too, as far as data types and things. So very easy to work with using the Database Explorer. All right, so we're going to work with this customer table here. We're going to load customers based upon salesperson. So to do that, going back to the steps that I just covered previously for using the Entity Data Source, we want to right-click and we're going to add a new item. And I'm going to go to Data. Now I have a couple options here. I could do Link to SQL Classes or ADO.NET Entity Data Model. That's what, of course, we want to do. So I'm going to call this AdventureWorks LT for light. Now this EDMX is a metadata file. It's going to generate behind the scenes an XML file that ultimately will be used to generate a bunch of code for us to be able to query this database, but we're going to query it using LINQ technology, Language Integrated Query. Let me go ahead and add that in. Okay, now we have two options here. I can actually create the model from scratch. In other words, create my entities, and it'll give me a blank design surface if I go this route, and then it would be up to me to add the entities onto the design surface. And then I could actually generate a database from that. That is an option. Or, in this case, we want to just generate from a database. We want to take that customer table and make an entity for it so we can query it. So I'm just going to select that. We'll hit Next. It's going to ask me about my connection string. You can see it puts all that in since this is a local database. Were it not, and I had to actually hit an enterprise database, I'd simply hit New Connection and then pick, what are we doing? SQL Server, Other, and then walk through the wizard here. But it's already picked it for us. It's done the connection string for Entity Framework. And it's going to update our web.config file as well. So let me hit Next. And now it's going to go out and query this database and bring back all the tables, views, and stored procedures. Now, in this particular case, we just want to go select Customer, but I would check whatever I want and would add those tables as entities onto this designer surface that you're going to see. So it's very, very easy to get started with this. Now I'm going to go with the defaults as far as including foreign key columns, naming, and the model namespace. We'll go ahead and leave it as is, and then hit Finish. Now what it'll do is generate the designer, and it's going to add the customer table onto that, and that'll now be an entity. So it's actually creating a class for me with the different properties inside of that class. Now from here, any of the non-nullable fields, if I didn't want those, which are now properties in my entity, then I could just remove those. I could click on this and delete and do that type of thing. But for this demo, we're going to go ahead and leave it as is. Okay, so let me build, because it did generate some C# code in this case behind the scenes. In fact, you can see that right here. And there's quite a bit of code it wrote for us down in here. So, all right, so now what we're going to do is add a web form. So we'll right click, add new item, go back to the web, and we'll do web form, and we'll just call it default. And now I'd like to come into the web form and start to use the entity data source. Now I already showed how there's salespeople in this database, and there's customers, of course. So we're going to do a drop-down type approach where you pick a salesperson, and that's going to show the customers that that salesperson has worked with. So let's go ahead and we'll add a little text here. Select a salesperson, and we'll do a drop-down. And then under that, I'd like to show the customers, and we'll just do a standard grid view for that. Give it a little formatting. Okay, so now we have this model that's available, and we need to be able to query the model. Now the easiest way to do that is the entity data source, because this is, after all, an entity framework model. So that's what the entity data source does. So we're going to do very much like you've seen me do several times in this module actually. We're going to come to the smart tag and say choose data source, and while I'm at it, I'm going to check that enable auto postback so we don't have to add a button for them to click. And we'll choose a data source, and now we're going to pick the entity data source that you see right here. And we'll give this one a name of salesperson entity data source. Okay, now it's going to go and ask us what is the name connection you want to use, which will help drive what is the container that we want to query against. So you'll notice this AdventureWorks Lite underscore data entities. Now that was created behind the scenes when we named ours AdventureWorks Lite, and it tagged on this data entities. So we're going to be using that information to actually query this particular entity framework model. Now since I only have one, that's pretty easy because there's only one thing to pick, you can see. So now we only have one entity, and we only have one entity set. Now an entity set is a collection of entities. So we have a customer entity, and the entity set, they just tack an S on it, it'd be customers. So if we come up here, there's our customers. Now for this first drop down, we want the salesperson. And you'll notice right off the bat there's not a lot of other activities or buttons I can click here. You know, there's no filtering really. There's a little bit up here we'll revisit in a later section, but that's about it. So we hit finish. Now you'll notice that nothing shows up as far as what should the drop-down list display for the data text field and the data value, the backing data for each item. So we're going to have to do a little bit of manual coding here. Very simple though. So we'll hit OK. Alright, so let's come into the source. We're going to fix this up just a little bit. So up in my drop-down list, what I'd like to do is say that the data text field is salesperson, because I want to make sure that we actually query that salesperson and work with it appropriately. Now here's what it added for the entity data source. So it gave the name of the connection string in web.config to get to. The default container is the object we're going to query through. And then the entity set we already talked about. We want to get from the customers. And then we want the salesperson. You'll always have this IT dot and then the name of the object, and salesperson in this case. Okay, now let's run that as is. 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 Now let's run that as Alright, and you'll notice that we have all our data, but it looks like there's a lot of duplication. There's a Garrett 1, Garrett 1, so quite a bit of duplication. Well, I showed earlier how in the SQL data source wizard, you just check a box and you can very easily select distinct rows. Well, in this one, there's not a place to check for that, but it's very easy to add. All we have to do is come into the select and add the word distinct on the front of it, and that'll take care of it for us. So let's run it again, and now we should have a much smaller result set, and there we go, of our actual salespeople. Now what we want to do is when they select one of these, we want to show the customers down here. So we're going to go through the same type of process for this example, and we'll choose a new data source. We'll do an entity, and we'll say customers entity data source. And go through the same process. It picks it for us, and we'll again do customers. Alright, now in this case I do want to select the customers, but I want to do a where clause where the customer is equal to that salesperson that we saw earlier. So to do that, I am going to select all the entities, and we can do insert update delete support if we'd like down here. That's pretty easy to get to, and we'll just select all of them, and then I'm going to hit finish. Now the challenge though, and we can go ahead and drill into here if we'd like. The challenge is that now as it's doing this, number one, it's going to spit out all the different columns. So if I come up to edit columns, you'll notice we don't see a whole lot. It's just going to auto generate them at this point. So we'd have to specify the specific ones if we want those to show up. I'm going to go ahead and for now leave it as auto generated. But instead of selecting that show all checkbox, I could have picked very specific ones. And then another thing we're going to need to do is I need a where clause. Well, for this particular entity data source, you'll see in the wizard there wasn't a whole lot of options there for doing that. It did come in and say, hey, query from the entity set, but there wasn't really a way to do a where clause there. Now we're going to see another way to do this in the next remaining section in this module. But for now, what I'm going to do is just type the where clause in. And we're going to say where the salesperson equals some salesperson parameter. Like that. Now, where does it get the data from? Well, since we have that drop down up top, we of course would like to get the data from the name that was selected from that drop down. Well, we've already done that before. We can come in and do a control parameter. Now the way we do this though is we have to add in a where parameters tag, because we want a where clause. You can see there's update, select, order by, insert, delete, those types of things. So we're going to say that the where parameters, and we just have one parameter, which is salesperson in this case, is going to get its data from a control parameter. The name of the parameter is salesperson. Now you don't put the @ symbol though. Okay, then we need to say, all right, what is the control ID? Well, the control ID is drop down list 1. So we'll go ahead and add that. And what's the data type? Well, it is a string. And finally, what's the default value if there wasn't one? And we'll just say the default value is null for this particular example. Okay, so now we've specified a where clause, but this is using link syntax behind the scenes. It actually converts this into an expression tree and goes and queries that entity framework model through this entity data source. Alright, so let's go ahead and give that a shot. So you can see our data is now loaded from our entity data source query that was performed. And as we go through this, you'll see the data loads below, changes. We can go in and edit. We can hit delete, which will delete immediately. And we have full support for paging. And we can do sorting as well. And that's all just built in out of the box. So this provides a very, very easy way to query an entity framework model. And we can do where clauses. We can even do order bys if we want. I could come in and there's an order by, and we could say, you know, I want to order by maybe first name or something like that. Let's run that again. And let's find first name. So there we go. So we have Andrew, Angela, Bart, Betty, and you can see it's now working. So all that type of stuff can be done, and even much more, but this provides a good intro to how do you get started with the Entity Data Source. Now in the next section, we're going to talk about how we can extend this using a query extender. So let's go ahead and move on and see how we can do that.